It's such a shame that so many people do not know that the summer is actually the best time to feed your family well and stretch your food budget well into the winter months. It's true, but if you need convincing, take a seat. And in today's Pantry Chat, I'm proving that by showing you 1, all the sales you need to buy right now. 2, show you how you can purchase any type of meat 50% off at almost any grocery store. 3, show you how to preserve fresh produce for months or years at a time. And I've got some other nifty ideas that will absolutely lower your grocery budget without coupons, store memberships, or bulk buying. Now let me state the obvious. Yes, this is a long video, and I won't apologize for it. Didn't you click on the video because you wanted to save money on your grocery staples? Well, honey, I assure you that I will deliver on that promise and leave you with dozens of ideas. I'm gonna take you into the grocery store and kitchen with me. Heck, I'm even gonna show you my receipts and how I get it all done in a simple townhouse kitchen. All I ask in return is that you see that I'm just trying to be as thorough as possible and answer some troubleshooting tips or questions that you'll likely run into that I would have had to leave out if this was some surface level 8-minute video. So if you have to pause the video and come back to it, honey, that's fine. I'll be here when you return. All right, start taking notes. Grocery stores follow a cycle or a pattern of what goes on sale throughout the calendar year. These sale points are when an item will be at its lowest price, which is your cue to stock up on this item so that you have enough to last you until it reaches its next sale point. Starting around Memorial Day, so like late May, clear through Labor Day, so early September, grocery stores increase their output of meat in anticipation of folks doing their summer grilling. But this month and next, I want you to take advantage of meat packages that are marked reduced for quick sale, as meat departments are turning over their inventory at a faster rate. Doing this will save you at least 25% and upwards of 50% off your meat. Take a look. Just the other day, I found 3-pound packages of ground beef that were marked 50% off, and Dice certified Angus beef also priced half off. This is the time of year I'll pop into a few grocery stores I pass on the way home from work and look specifically for marked down meat. When I get home, I'll make a plan for how I'll extend the shelf life even longer by determining if I'll freeze it or can it. I decided to take 2 of the 3-pound ground beef packages and break them down into quart-sized bags to freeze for meals that I'll make later on. To do this, I simply cut the meat packages in half and squeezed the meat into a freezer bag. And then I laid it flat to press down the meat so it would store easily in the freezer. I have a freezer in my townhouse basement, and I like to use a tote like this to carry things up and down the steps. I froze the other 2 ground beef packages whole for when I want to make a big batch of chili or lasagna and place the beef on the side door to can later on. Honey, we are just getting started with these deals. But whoa, I have been saving my receipts to show you the savings, and it's just incredible. All right, y'all, so I am just getting home from work, and I'm not even going to change out of my clothes. I set everything up because I need to get a start on canning this meat. Do you ever have that feeling when you're like, oh my goodness, did this really just happen? Y'all, when you see the amount of meat that I was able to pick up, and some of it was grass-fed, for $44.31, I mean, this is insane. This is the most amount of meat that I've ever been able to get in one foul swoop, other than like, you know, your holiday hams and turkeys and whatnot, but oh my goodness. I actually purchased this meat before I went into work at a nearby grocery store, came home, placed it in the fridge, and dashed back out the door so I wouldn't be late for work. It's about 5 o'clock right now. All right, y'all, so here is a look at everything, but let me bring you in. So I picked up this London broil, originally priced for $21.73. Y'all, I got this for $5.43. Then over here, I have some grilling steaks, originally priced for $7.49. Y'all, I picked this up for $3.74. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Look here, y'all. We even have some grass-fed beef, originally priced, so this was a $6.59 package that I got for $3.29. This is another one that was almost $6. I picked it up for half off at $2.99. What do I have over here? This is a chuck roast, originally priced for $14.12 for $7.06. Oh my goodness, and how many? I'm not even telling you, this is almost 3 pounds of meat. I will calculate all this and let y'all know. Okay, so then I also found some Italian turkey lean sausages. Y'all look at these. I think I'm just gonna break these down, and I might can one. I might just like break them down into like 3 and 3, but $3.74, y'all. Priced down from $7.49. And then, oh, I found 3 of those. And then this is another, oh my goodness, I have 3 chuck steaks. Oh goodness, God is good. And then I also brought home some top round steaks here, originally priced at $14.56, marked down to $7.28. All right, y'all, so let me go ahead and cut everything up. And I think what I'm probably going to do is double stack the canner that I already have the water heating over here. But let me show you what everything shakes out to be. 7 quart jars and 2 pint jars seasoned with onion and garlic are headed for the canner. Here they are cooling after I've pressure canned them. A safe and expected layer of fat from the meat juices in your jar will appear, which is what you see here. But remember, fat is flavor, and it's delicious, by the way. As long as your lids are sealed, you can store this meat for up to 18 months or longer. Now here's something that you should know. You are going to have more luck finding reduced for sale meats at your local and smaller grocery stores. And if you're not finding them very often, don't be shy about asking the meat department. So some stores, and I'm talking about just that particular store, even if it's a part of a chain, will do their markdowns early in the morning, while other stores will mark down their meat right before they close up. Either way, once you know that information, you can aim to shop around those times. So I work for a school district, but I'm a 12-month employee, but school just let out. And so now for about the next 2 weeks, I can go into work about an hour later before kids return for summer programs. Usually with my regular work schedule, I can only pop into Wise after work. But for the stretch of 2 weeks that I have, I've been going into Wise every single day at 7:45, which is when the time that Michael or Edwin are finished marking down the meats. See, I know my butcher's on a first name basis. Doing these little pop-ins where I walk straight to the meat department, look for the red tags, and walk right back out means that I can usually find 1 to 2, but now more recently 4 to 5 packages of meat a day.
749 credit 375 597 credit 299.
What's that? Oh, I hear those whispers. Honey, I assure you that we are not throwing caution to the wind by buying clearance meat. You've got to think of the sale by date as post-it notes that meat departments tag on their products so that the older packages are at the front of the display case and next in line to get marked down. But look at the date on the non-marked down items too if you're planning on stocking up on end-of-the-line proteins like I do, because this date will give you an indicator as to when the next shipment of meat is due to arrive, so that you know maybe like a day or 2 before that you need to start hitting the store. That's the stuff that's going to get marked down right before the new batch to make room. Worst case scenario, reduced cut meats may not be as juicy as the cuts of meat that were just butchered and put out, but they are perfectly fine to consume if they are properly packed and stored. If it's airtight, ain't leaking, kept in the chiller, then that meat will actually be good for even a few more days after you bring it home. After all, it's important to remember that these dates indicate quality, not safety. Yeah, that's a fact straight from the United States Department of Agriculture. Yep, on their website, you'll also see that except for infant formula, there are no federal requirements that food even be labeled with a date. If I haven't already done so, I've got a few more facts that might burst your bubble. When it comes to fresh meat, beef should be red, pork should be pink, and chicken should be a peachy hue, right? Not exactly. Now, in 100% natural conditions, those shades are actually pretty short-lived, and stores do some creative packaging to preserve it that way. And the color that meat takes on when it's butchered is actually influenced by the animal itself. Was it older, male, female, fed a specific diet, or active? All of those considerations can make your meat appear darker. And other things like constant exposure to store lighting can add a brownish tint to red meats, as can oxidation of roast beef. What this means for you as a consumer and me is that we don't have to dismiss or be completely suspect of meat that doesn't look display bright anymore. Clearance meat isn't rotting, okay? It's just going under some very natural chemical changes due to its environment. If all other signs point to yes, clearance meat will taste and look the same once fully cooked as its more vivacious counterparts. So you better pick up that markdown meat and either put it on your menu, in the freezer, or can it, and you'll be well within the safe range. That's why you've been seeing me in my work clothes all week. I either can it as soon as I get home or stick it in the freezer to can at a later date. Woo, that was a mouthful, and you're probably wondering where I'm getting all this information. Well, as a food waste warrior, it's a combination of what I learned from my mama and my grandmother's kitchens, other farm girls right here on the channel, and a collection of food waste books that I will link below. So I've actually talked about these books here on the channel, but I especially enjoy The Zero Waste Chef. Can you see it there? All right, The Zero Waste Chef. And then another good one that is such an easy read is Waste Free Kitchen Handbook. This is one that I enjoy. Another one is Cooking with Scraps. And then I really got into just kind of understanding food waste. And so this is more of a novel and a study by Jonathan Bloom. And this is called American Wasteland. And then I also have this recipe book. It's called Cook More, Waste Less. Since we've gotten that out of the way, let's really get into how your kitchen and meals will be transformed by opting to can your clearance meat. I've got some boneless ribs and a roast that I'm going to marinate in diced garlic. So after grabbing a few clean canning jars, I'm adding a scoop to the bottom of each. Next, I'm going to dice an onion because who can't resist an onion and garlic combination of anything? And oh, I always save the skins and ends of anything I use to make my own veggie broths to flavor rice or pasta later on in the week. All right, now it's time to add your cut meat, which is going to fully tenderize and cook in its own juices combined with the flavors of onion and garlic. Before I started canning, it was the meat that usually took the most time to cook. Now I just grab it off the shelf. What a time saver for weekday meals. Plus, canning is the only way that I'm able to affordably stock my pantry week by week with meat without spending hundreds of dollars at a time. This meat is going to be on my shelf ready for whatever I need it to be. In a soup, stew, casserole, pasta dish, as a sheet pan meal, truly whatever. Sometimes you won't quite have enough meat to fill another jar. When this happens, I cook the meat right away using other ingredients I have on hand and I need to use up. So in a small skillet, I sauteed some onions, added the small portion of meat that I had, then I added a can of white kidney beans. Next, I headed out to the garden and picked off some kale so that I can make this an all-in-one meal. It was the perfect portion for lunch the next day, so I put it in a container, and this was so filling, healthy, and delicious. All right, y'all, so I kind of feel like it's deja vu with all these meat hauls that I'm doing, but I've got to show you that the getting really is that good. So today's haul was right on time and such a relief because during canning season, I cook very simple meals because I'm putting up so much, right? So I am still canning all of the jams and vegetables and fruits alongside trying to take advantage of the meat sales. And so most of the time what I'll do is I'll just, if I have any leftovers that aren't going to fit into a jar to preserve, I am pretty much doing something that's like a burrito or like a taco or a lettuce wrap with just a little bit of meat, some veggies, a dollop of sour cream. I'll go out to the garden and maybe it's like a lettuce wrap. And it's just, I mean, it's good stuff, but it's kind of random, right? I'll just make like a big old thing of rice for the week and just, I mean, whatever I kind of mix in there and add some broth or a sauce is what it is. But I really need some freezer meals. But y'all know I went through the last of my freezer meals like a month ago, and I do not want to start opening any of my ready to go jars that I have. So, oh my goodness, what I'm going to do is I found these chicken thighs. There are 3 of them for $1.57, so that is super awesome. And I'm just going to make some very quick freezer meals out of these 6 thighs that I have here. Y'all, remember when I did all of my my canned turkey breast earlier in the year with the whole turkeys? So I knew that this was a great buy, $3.74. For what is this? It's like a pound and a half of turkey. So again, this is gonna be super simple just to go ahead and can up. And then I also found, this is some grass-fed porterhouse steak. And this would just be nice for a little at-home date night. Sometimes my husband just likes to try like different recipes with meats, and so he'll really enjoy that. And then one thing that I'm not gonna can at all, this is really just a way for me to practice. I really wanna get into starting to cure my own meats. It's super simple with just a little bit of like salt and sugar. And so instead of buying like a huge pork belly. I found this these 2 cuts here of pork belly, and it's been reduced from $5.97 to $2.98. So I'm going to practice with this with these 2 cuts of pork belly. I'll keep you posted on that. But yeah, oh, I almost forgot. So then, hold on. So then at the farmer's market, which is not too far away from Wise, my farmer's market has these bargain bins or bargain boxes. And so what this is like you can get either a couple of the bargain baskets for $2, or you can get like an entire box this size for $8. And so and you can't they already come assembled. And so I have here, it's just produce that you need to eat within a day or two. So I have some eggplant here, which I love. I got a mix of potatoes, and then I have one little old carrot. I have some zucchini, some squash that's here. And then I also have some peppers. So what I'm gonna do is just have a very simple but delicious all-in-one meal. I'm going to bake everything and have a side of the diced potatoes, the veggies, and then the meat. And that will at least buy me some time so that between canning and all the other things that happen in the evening during the week, I at least know that I have some meals that are ready to go. Y'all, these thighs, complete with seasoning, were 50 cents each. All I needed to do was grease a cast iron skillet with a bit of home-rendered bacon fat lard and pop these bad boys in the oven. Goodness, now we gotta tackle this produce box. Let's start by giving everything a good cleaning. I'm using a homemade veggie cleaner made with vinegar and lemon juice. Now here's the fun part, dicing the veggies, which I'm so grateful that my and many farmers markets will assemble boxes of marked down produce because it gives you a chance to take advantage of organic, locally grown veggies at a fraction of the cost. I'm not playing any games, so I grabbed 3 of my cast iron skillets because I'm going to cook and freeze these veggies that we'll be eating off during the next month or two. Oh, hold on tight because in a moment I'm going to show you how to make muffin meals, which are complete meals that fit in a cupcake tin. All right, back to the task at hand. Now that I've spread out my cut veggies, which will also roast in bacon fat, the combination of the peppers and squash and eggplant and a carrot that some might avoid because it has browning, which almost always indicates that it's been washed and stored in a cool room before packing, it just needs to be peeled and then tossed into a homemade vegetable medley full of flavor. I grabbed one of my silicone bags and saved all of the tops and skins off of my veggies to freeze because you don't need to buy veggie or chicken stock if you always save your bones and veggie scraps. Since the garden is growing like crazy, I went out and harvested some parsley, rosemary, marjoram, oregano, green onion, and sage to add even more va-va-voom to this dish. I also came back with more kale and cherry tomatoes. It's no surprise that I topped this off with onions and garlic, gave everything a good mix, and then popped them into the preheated oven with the chicken thighs. We're not done with the produce box just yet. I'm using this cloth potato bag, which reduces the cook time, and I'm talking about 3 regular potatoes into this bag. The chicken thighs came out perfect, tender and juicy. I grabbed a few sizes of my freezer pans and assembled my containers. I used the seasoned oil left in the skillets to cook the remaining pieces of turkey left over from when I canned the previous day. This was instantaneous flavor, and I encourage you to do the same. I also had 1 lonely squash that I cut up and tossed in. Now I hope you're keeping up, sweetheart, because I'm circling back to the cooked potatoes, which as you can see, came out very tender. Then I added some butter and a half a block of cream cheese, which I stocked up on last month when it was on sale because June is National Dairy Month. I poured over some milk and mashed everything by hand. I don't always add cream cheese, so these potatoes were especially rich. Aren't these potatoes just beautiful? Okay, so my plan for this food is to take out one of my silicone freezer containers and portion everything into it. That way, all I have to do is pop out these cubes and have a side of meat or mashed potatoes at the ready. I like to use freezer tape and a marker to label what's what before I stick it in the freezer. Now, I don't know about you, but this feels like relief. In an evening after work, I've been able to can meat that we'll have for meals months down the road, and I've also been able to make some simple meals sliding in at just under 2 hours. Not bad. I'm scooping the fully cooked veggies into another freezer bag and whew, dinner is done. I'm also going to freeze the mashed potatoes. Hey y'all, so today we are not doing any canning because we need to do some freezing. And you know I still went to the store and I was able to get exactly what I needed. So y'all, today, and I actually saw these yesterday, they have some garlic and pepper chicken thighs, and I got these 3 for $1.78. So I got 2 packs of those that I'm gonna go ahead already tonight, and I'll probably have us eat half of these tonight. I'll give Trey 2, I'll eat 1, and then I'm just gonna bake everything. And then I also found, so I used a lot of the diced ham. It's either for sandwiches that we're gonna take for like picnics or like trips, or I already canned it in my ham and bean soups. But look, I found these ham steaks and these were just $1.74 each. So I'm gonna go ahead and just cook those. And then what you're gonna see me do is I got a big bag, these were $5 each for the value size, of the petite broccoli florets, and then of the leaf spinach. And I'm gonna go ahead and cook these entire bags up now and then just portion them into my cupcake tins so that when I wanna throw together a very quick meal, actually I think what I wanted to do is add some like rice and cheese to this so it's all in one. And then I think I have like a little bit of Parmesan cheese probably already in the fridge. If I don't, it is what it is. I'll fix it up some kind of way. Or I might add some like cream of mushroom in there if I don't have cheese. But I'm just gonna go ahead and make those meals and then just go ahead and portion everything into my cupcake tins. Already have my meat ready to go so that just, oh my goodness, like what are we? I still have a couple of weeks left of like the heavy meat sales that I want to catch. And so just being able to open up the freezer and literally just have a smorgasbord of options, because it's going to be, okay, I have chicken that's ready, I have ham that's ready, I have turkey that's ready. And then I actually want to see if I can get some ground beef on sale and then do the same and have like little mini like meatloaves that are ready to go. And then it's going to be either the mixed veggies that I made yesterday, or if and when I get tired of that, I can have a broccoli option, the spinach option, and then I'll already have my starches ready to go. But that will just give me some more like just bandwidth to be able to keep this going. Y'all, when canners refer to like, you know, it's canning season, this is what we mean. There's so much going on and I'm excited about it. And I have canned long enough to know that like these sales, as exhilarating as they are, and I'm looking over here at probably about 40 jars on my counter that I've done just this week. I mean, these are the dog days of summer for sure, but it is always so worth it with the sales that I can find. So let me go ahead and get that started. All right, first up, let's make some easy cheesy spinach by cooking the spinach and in another pot, cook some rice for our broccoli rice and cheese dish. The same as yesterday, we're gonna bake these thighs real quick by placing them into the oven. And then next up, we're gonna cut the ham slices in 2 and slide them in the oven right beside the chicken. Let's season up the spinach with a bit of seasonal salt, and then I added some mozzarella cheese that I had on hand. After the cheese melted, I scooped this into my silicone muffin pan. Using that same pot, I poured the broccoli in to cook it. Then I added a bit of milk and cream cheese. Then I spooned in the brown rice, which was now fully cooked. I gave things a good stir and then added in a cheddar cheese blend. Oh yeah, I took out the chicken and the ham to let it cool. Then I spooned everything into my other silicone muffin sheet. I used a small casserole dish to hold the rest, which I'll freeze, and we'll graze on this at a later date. I'm cooling the ham steaks on a plate. I'll add them to the basement freezer later. Look at how easy it is to pop these frozen mashed potatoes that are in portions perfect for dinner for one, a family, or a quick meal. Here's the spinach and broccoli. I'm gonna add these to the bag too. Tonight's dinner combo is mashed potatoes, spinach, and baked chicken, which takes just a few minutes to heat up. Plus, you can't even tell it's come from the freezer after it's warmed up. I also went on to make burrito bowls as a muffin meal with a layer of enchilada sauce, brown rice, black beans, clearance ground chicken, and corn. These are perfectly portioned meals that were made for bits and bobs of leftover food from my canning or pantry. Dolloped with a bit of my home fermented sour cream, this burrito bowl is uncomplicated and so good. Y'all have seen me bake with these silicone cupcake things a lot because I love them because they make food removal so easy, and I no longer need to buy those, those cupcake liners. I picked these up at Aldi over 2 years ago, and honestly, I need to get some more. I really make it a point to keep freezer meals of all sizes, so I'll have like the large casserole dishes, and then I'll have smaller sizes for two, and then especially my muffin meals. I just love my muffin meals because, I love how they're individually portioned, and you've seen the way that I scoop things in. I am very generous. But sometimes I either don't have time, or maybe I just forgot, right, to take it out that morning before work to defrost things. And then sometimes I don't want to stick something in, the microwave that is going to take 20 minutes or whatever to defrost. And so I really like having these portions where I can have dinner ready literally in minutes, right? And so these muffin meals have really come in handy. If you want to start making muffin meals, milk this secret for as long as you can. My husband's on to me now, but when I first started doing this, I would say, hey babe, what do you want for dinner? We have ham, ground chicken, baked thighs, and he'd make a choice. But then I'd ask him, what sides do you want? We've got mashed potatoes, broccoli, rice, and cheese, or creamed spinach. And then he'd reply like a properly groomed husband should. Whatever's easiest on you, babe. And then I'd say back to him, it's no trouble, really. I mean, whoa. For a while, I really looked like I had it all together. Now, if I have a late night at work or he just wants a little snack, he loves these muffin meals, and I know your family will too. I feel as though I may be belaboring the point on how much you can save on meat and meals during the summer months, but it's true. And it's not just on chicken or beef. I'm able to get sausage links, almost any cut of steak. Heck, I've even found wild-caught fish like cod and salmon, pork chops, ribs that we'll use for summer and fall grilling, cube steak, but this last find surprised even me. Hey Mom, can you hear me?
Here.
All right, I have both of my dehydrators running, so I know it's kind of loud. Mom, guess what I found today? I hit the jackpot.
Really?
Well, of course, honey. I've been finding that all month. Even higher than that, I already got ribs, check.
Okay.
Check, I got steak. Come on, Mom. This is what you and I love, 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 love.
You know you did it.
Yes, I did.
Touch it.
Mom, even better than crab cakes. Look at these. Mom, I found two of these. It's the Chesapeake Bay brand lump mom crab meat. So this ordinarily sells for $25. I got it half off for $12.49. Mom, I'm sorry to do this to you, but I just, just quality control. I'm about to have one now. I was gonna stick these in the freezer, but I'm like, you know what? Mom, look! If this is our first time meeting, hi, I'm Cassandra from the blog becomingafarmgirl.com. I'm here to help you start canning and preserving your own ingredients right at home and share ways to use your home canned pantry and meals your family will love. I'm a homestead dreamer with a goal of moving to a small homestead a couple of years from now. And the way that we're going to do that is by saving money from our full-time jobs and living as economically as we can. Last month, I shared that my freezer went out, which was a whole fiasco. But luckily, we were able to replace it with a new used freezer that I found on Facebook Marketplace for $200. Well, y'all, Guess what happened after that? Well, y'all, I was just telling Mom it's always something. So, just 2 weeks ago, we had to change the transmission out of Trey's car. And then last week, the freezer broke. And we used this truck that we're currently behind to haul it. But then Mom had slipped out because she was going to go to the commissary and pick up a few things. And then we don't know what's going on, but the gear shift just like, you can't move it. And even when I did the emergency trip where you can move it, like the actual, there's no like give when you go in between the shifts, and the car just stays in neutral. Now, our Highlander was over 20 years old, and we knew that it needed lots of work. You know, I share this to say that unexpected expenses come up for all of us, but I am so glad that we stick to sound and simple home economics. It's not a matter of if something is going to need to be repaired or replaced, but when. So that's why it's important to be mindful about expenses that you do have some control over, like your groceries. I happily stick with the cash system grocery weekly budget. That means I can spend a little more or a little less with cash while keeping this line item in our budget the same. Paired with canning, you can really start to see how food preservers play a powerfully different game than other shoppers. All right, we've got to pick this up because there are still a host of other projects you and I have got to get done this month while the getting is still good. Here's the produce that will be in season and on sale during the month of July. Remember, these are the foods that you want to have a preservation plan for. Are you going to can it, dehydrate it, freeze it, ferment it so that you have a reserve for the coming months? As always, availability due to seasonal conditions may vary in your area, but these are the fruits that are in season in July, which include cherries, strawberries, which we canned a strawberry syrup in last month's Pantry Chat, blueberries, and we also canned a pie filling in last month's video. But this month I have a popsicle recipe that I'm going to show you in a bit that you're going to love. Blackberries, raspberries, apricots, peaches and nectarines, plums, figs, grapes, and melons. All right, so the next up, the vegetables that you're gonna find being advertised on the front of your sales flyers includes rhubarb, which we made a barbecue sauce in last month's video, sweet onions, peas, green beans, cucumbers, summer squash, corn, bell peppers, tomatoes, eggplant, and hot peppers. So since I've started doing these pantry chats, a lot of y'all have been like, hey Cassandra, we're already on your email list when you send us the canning recipes, but can you start sending us just like a one-pager or an email each month that kind of goes along with the video? And I was like, okay. I do not spam your email account at all. Like, y'all know that. But what I am going to go ahead and share is if I already have your email, then you're going to get the July Pantry Chat, which really is just a 1 or maybe 2-page template that gives you like all the produce, quick hits, some links to some different recipes, but it's basically the condensed or the Cliff Notes version of every month's Pantry Chat. And if you want to start getting these sent to you, that link is below. Okay, so there are some other things that I want to tell you. When it comes to fruit, the better they smell, the better they'll taste. Now, I have a couple of farmers markets that are very close to me, but even if you don't, it is definitely worth a trip to the farmers market, especially in July, to take advantage of all of the abundance that's coming in right now. And most farmers offer samples, which is the best way to make sure you're spending money on good tasting fruit. Summer vegetables are in peak season this month, but most of those sales will continue through August. If you're going to be canning your tomatoes, you definitely want to seek them out from a local source or a farmer's market for the best taste and flavor. But peppers, on the other hand, ship very well, so you'll find high quality even at a grocery store. Now, cucumbers can be bitter this month if the weather is hot and dry. But English and Persian cucumbers are often not bitter at all. Well, with a list like that, you know I have been busy with my canning projects. So let me give you some ideas on how I'm taking advantage of all this summer goodness. Green beans are a weekly side around here, and I'm so glad to have fresh ones appear at the market. I love canning green beans in chicken broth, but I'm taking a shortcut here and using a low sodium bouillon. I'll tilt my jar so that I can pack my beans in, then submerge them with hot water, sure I'll be canning these for the next few weeks. Everyone in my family is crazy over peaches, so I'll be canning a basket full of these almost every other day to have on hand for gifts. You don't have to remove the skins on your peaches, but if you are, you can blanch them and they come right off. I have a full video and recipe on the blog showing you how to can peaches. One thing I do to save time is to make lots of peach syrup at a time, and then I'll stick it in the fridge so that all I have to do is heat it up for the next batch. Once you have processed your first batch of sweet corn, you will never want to go back to store-bought canned corn ever again. It's the taste! The taste is incomparable! Plus, I just love corn. If you haven't seen my ham and corn soup video, you're missing out. In that video, I share why canning ham and corn soup is one of my most reached for pantry staples, but here's the short version of it. I picked up a seconds box of corn at the farmer's market for $10. This is organically grown corn. Corn kernels become ripe just about the same time as the silks start to brown. As you husk your corn, separate the silks from the husks because we're gonna use them. Blanch your ears of corn in a large pot to soften the kernels. Then get your dehydrator because we're going to dehydrate the corn silks to make corn silk tea. Why? Because these silks have antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, antibacterial, and antiseptic properties with a light and sweet taste that's easy to drink. Be sure to spread your silks out so that when they dry, they'll dry evenly. It'll just take a few hours. After your silks are dry, you can cut them into smaller sizes that you can more easily use to stuff a tea bag or a steeper. I like to store my silks in a glass airtight container. This tea has amazing medicinal properties and has been used in traditional Chinese medicine for thousands of years. The flavor of this one ingredient tea is mild, toasty, and it has notes of corn, of course. Okay, let's get to those stalks. We're gonna bundle them up and let them dry out too. Instead of placing them in the dehydrator, I'm going to set them on my covered porch over the next week or so because what you are looking at is what I'm going to use for kindling for our backyard fire pits as we make s'mores. We've got to return to the corn that we've got on the stove. We're going to remove our ears from the water, then use a corn cutter to easily remove the kernels. This sweet white corn is gonna be so good. I made some veggie broth the night before, so I'm gonna pour some of that over the corn as the broth in these jars and then place them in the pressure canner. I'm so glad you asked. Cassandra, what are we gonna do with the ears? Honey, half the reason you're going to want to can your own corn is so that you get an ingredient you'll never be able to purchase in a store. Corn cob stock. Yes, those ears are still full of flavor, and it's a stock that I think tastes even better than vegetable stock, and no offense to that, I'm just saying. You've seen how I harvested some extra herbs from the garden, added some onion to draw out the flavor. You're gonna wanna roast this, then make it into a broth. Check out my corn soup video for the full recipe. Look, don't give me the side eye for finding ways to use every piece of an ear of corn. Given that we enjoy a good campfire, those of us that live in the city would have to buy kindling, which ain't cheap. And all it really is just material to keep your fire going. And if you've never heard of corn silk tea, which is a thing, Google it and you will see that the tiniest little bags of that stuff sell for $8 a box, which you and I know is ludicrous when most people just toss it. Now let's get to some summer treats. We are doing all things blueberry around here, but with the muggy July weather we've had, I wanted to make a healthy cold treat, blueberry yogurt popsicles to enjoy. Yes, I love ice cream just as much as the next person, but I'd rather have something that gives me a little more than empty calories. You can control how much and what type of sweetener you use, and use store-bought or homemade yogurt. After combining the puree and yogurt, you'll need a silicone popsicle mold to pour your mixture into, and then slide your popsicle sticks inside and let it freeze for at least 4 hours. What you'll get are delicious blueberry popsicles that pack a protein punch. Another treat I enjoy making are my own fruit roll-ups. Trust me, homemade is so much better because you can taste the natural fruit flavor, not just the sugar. Plus, this recipe uses Pomona's pectin, which is designed to gel with low amounts of sugar, and we're just going to use fruit juice for that. You start by making calcium water and then adding that to the fruit puree and then bringing that to heat on the stove. Then you blend any flavor of concentrated fruit juice. I usually use apple or grapefruit juice with the pectin, and then you pour that into the puree. Spread the sauce over your dehydrator trays using parchment paper, but you don't have to. Since I'm making a medium-sized batch, I'm using both of my dehydrators. Oh wait, if I'm going to run my dehydrator, what else can I add to it? Does anyone else think like that? My stevia plant was overdue for a trim, so I harvested some, came back in, plucked the leaves off the stem, and added them to a dehydrator tray. Several hours later, we return to some dehydrated goodness. The stevia is crunchy and dry, and our fruit leather, a strawberry grape flavor, looks so good. First, let me take care of this stevia. I'm going to pulse it in the blender until it gets really fine, and then store it in an airtight container that I can use to sprinkle in my teas or muffins. Okay, so here's the fruit leather tray that I didn't use a liner on, and it's fine. See how easily it'll peel right off once you let it cool, and it won't even stain your tray. After I remove all of the leather, I like to cut it into smaller portions and either store it in a baggie that'll go in the fridge, or you can leave them out at room temperature for about a week. I stuck those right alongside my fruit basket for a quick snack. Infused olive oils are a game changer for meats, veggies, and dressings, but the price that you will pay, or the markup really, between just like regular olive oil and then olive oil that has infused herbs in it is insane. Luckily, this is the time of year that I make my own to last all year long. I'm always tickled when the growth of the garden starts to pick up in early summer, and I find myself needing to preserve something almost every day, like this sage. I have several planter pockets of it in my green stalks. I decided to make some sage-infused oil, which is yummy on fresh baked breads, salads, chicken, bread, croutons, and veggie stews, or on French bread. It's as simple as it looks to make, and this will need about 4 weeks to infuse in a cool, dark place. Y'all, in a freak accident, the kombucha canister that has sat on my counter for years cracked, so I'm starting all over making it from scratch. Luckily, you can make this stuff starting with a store-bought bottle that already has live probiotic cultures. You brew your tea, add the bottle of kombucha, a few scoops of sugar, cover it, and since kombucha loves a warm environment, I placed her outside on the front porch to enjoy the 85-degree weather that we've had as of late. In 7 to 10 days, a SCOBY will appear, and I'll be back to making batches of kombucha. Since I've shared a lot on how I clearance shop at the grocery store, I wanted to show some non-grocery items I found at excellent prices. This is stuff I am only buying because the price point is so low, and it's something that I can see myself using. Y'all, this handy heater was $7.49, marked down from $30, and something I could see myself using during the winter months in the small bathroom upstairs to take the chill off in the morning when I'm in there without turning the heat up all over the house or bringing in a small floor-based heater. It's kind of snazzy with a timer and thermostat, but I'm even more impressed that it actually pumps out heat quickly. I think I like it. It is no secret that I love to thrift, but y'all, guess what I found this month? A table runner that I just knew would match the curtains in the living room, which are Pier 1 and also thrifted. The shades were nearly spot on, and I was so pleased to find this. I removed my Easter runner, and I'm just in love with this textured print. I also found this Dockers travel backpack on wheels, which when I saw the price, I was shocked. This bag is in excellent condition. Y'all, this was a bag that I got for my husband, but really I could use this too since it's so nice. I mean, you just can't buy a bag for $8. It's in pristine condition and has so many compartments. This was a real find. Look, this next find might be a little polarizing, but as someone who walks around a school building all day, I have gravitated towards comfy and quality shoes since my early 20s. My friend Celeste teases me all the time about my shoe selection. She's like, girl, those are so you, but they ain't my style. But when I saw them there in my size, I just knew they were the ones. I mean, y'all, these are in excellent condition. So a couple of things that I do when I'm buying shoes from a thrift store is I look to see like how worn they are, right? I am getting shoes 90% of the time that are either brand new or maybe they were just worn like once or twice by folks. Look, have they even like walked in these shoes? The traction is fresh. And then I love that, like, especially for work, it has like this quilt kind of thing here so you can easily like, you know, wipe it off, but it also makes it a little bit like dressy too, right? And then I also love, look, just like the kids that I'm in the classroom with, I don't even have time. If it doesn't have laces, I think you already know that I am just partial to that. I can slip my foot in. I have kind of narrow feet and these fit really well. Zip it up. It is super secure. It has the little, you know, things back here to help me get them on. These are Lands' End shoes. I've never bought anything from that brand, like brand new, at least not their shoes, but you know, I know it's a really good brand. The inside felt amazing. And I mean, this is nice, right? This is a really nice pair of shoes that I can dress up or down. I think these are cute and practical, okay? So there. I also found this fancy little s'mores grilling kit. We don't have any major summer traveling plans, so this will be perfect for fun weekends at home. Friends, I also found some more faux flowers to stick out in the front yard that will be perfect for fall curb appeal. So a few years ago, I figured out that whenever my husband and I go on overnight trips, either together or for work, that it was my preference to have a toiletry bag that just stayed packed, right? It wasn't the stuff that I use on a daily basis, and I just wanted something that never needed to be packed or unpacked. Our local Bath & Body Works store is going out of business, so I popped over to see what items would be reduced. At home, I use mostly butters and oils, but if I'm going somewhere overnight or tossing my luggage on a plane, travel sizes of stuff I normally don't use is convenient. Plus, these are actually 60% off at the register. I just love lemon balm. I drink it nearly every day, and I love that it grows so quickly. After I've watered the garden in the morning, I'll often prepare a cup of tea and add other tasty herbs from the garden like stevia and lavender. My friends, this is how a city gal enjoys the simple life. So while my mom was visiting, we enjoyed one of our favorite pastimes, which is a show that we would always watch together when I became a teenager. Can you guess it? Yes, the Golden Girls. Oh my gosh, I love that show. Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again.
It was her.
I know. Sorry for the off-tune singing, but yes, what a classic show. Let me know, are you a Golden Girls fan too? All right, Mom, I want you to read this comment that someone left. It says, I'll read it for you, I'm pointing to it. Love Mom's pink onesie?
Oh,
Yes!
no, the two-piece set.
Yeah, I think because, I mean, it's just one solid color,
Right,
but
right.
I'm like, I kind of want to reply, thank you, but actually it's mine. But I leave it out. Yeah, we share it. Yeah, and even though it's warmer.
Yeah, it's warm.
Yeah, it's warm because the air is definitely, sometimes it's kicking. And there's such a vast difference between like upstairs, the main floor, and basement. But yeah, I was like, oh goodness. This comment was too funny because I have worn that set a lot here on the channel. It's like my cool weather house clothes set. My My journey to become a farm girl isn't about being perfect. It's about progress. And now I'm venturing into curing my own meats. Of course, I've got a lot to learn, but I'm always willing to take the first step, imperfect as it may be. I hope that what you see me sharing here is how, probably like you, I'm juggling work, a family, and real life while chasing a homestead dream in a way that sparks joy through everyday moments. If you've missed any of my other pantry chats, click on the video on your screen. It is always a pleasure to spend time with you, my friend. I'll see you in my kitchen or garden soon. Take care.